The Detroit Red Wings are in serious trouble, and you got to feel for a franchise that hasn't made the playoffs in almost 10 years. It's been 9 seasons without playoff hockey for Red Wing fans, and that could extend to 10 because they're about to be without a couple of key pieces for the foreseeable future. So we'll break down that on this episode of Answer the Call with Peter Vryonis, as well as what it means for the Eastern Conference playoff picture, so you won't want to miss what we got coming up next. Welcome in, everybody, to Answer the Call with Peter Vryonis. I'm your host, and today, some sad news coming out of Detroit concerning 2 very key pieces to what the Red Wings are hoping to achieve this year. Now, if you are enjoying the content, whether it's the football, baseball, basketball, or even the hockey content, which you all seem to love, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've been posting almost daily on this channel, and the support truly means the world to me. So if you are liking the content, make sure to hit that sub button because it is free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out a ton. But let's get straight into the video. I don't want to waste any time here. And this is the news coming out of Detroit concerning 2 very key pieces to their success. And Coach Todd McLellan says that Dylan Larkin and Andrew Copp will be out about 2 weeks with leg injuries. We'll reassess them then. So Detroit missing 2 key centers, and this is coming out after we originally saw this report come out. Dylan Larkin is reportedly day-to-day per head coach Todd McLellan. So that was 5 days ago when it seemed as though Larkin went down with a non-contact injury and it looked bad in real time. And then everyone was kind of drawing their own conclusions until McLellan came out and said it's nothing serious. But this report proves otherwise, that it is said to be serious. And week to week, that's never a good thing. That is never a good thing when we are talking about 2 key pieces to that Red Wings success. Now, if we take a look at the further picture here, this is the Eastern Conference as it stands today on March 12th, Thursday, March 12th. So the Red Wings are about to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. They sit at 79 points with 65 games played. And the Lightning have cooled off here a little bit, and they've actually been reached by the Montreal Canadiens in the standings in the Atlantic. So as of now, the Red Wings are in a playoff spot, but they're just 3 points up on the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have a game in hand as well. And if you haven't been paying attention, the Blue Jackets have been as hot as pretty much anybody not named the Buffalo Sabres. And what an incredible story the Sabres have been. We'll probably get into that in the next couple of days. But things are getting a little bit dicey right now for Detroit. You got to keep winning games, but it gets incredibly hard to do that when you are missing your captain in Dylan Larkin, and then Andrew Copp, another key piece down the middle. So, Copp is not the game breaker that Larkin is, but now down the middle, you have nothing, pretty much no offense coming from that spot. Now, Lucas Raymond, Alex DeBrincat, they've been having very good seasons, but don't just look at the point total. I think Dylan Larkin is the best player on this team for what he does in the 200-foot game. He just does everything for this squad. He is their version of Nick Suzuki for the Montreal Canadiens. Just so crucial to them achieving any sort of success. You could also argue that Mo Seider is probably their best player, and I wouldn't be mad at you saying that either because he truly is phenomenal. They have some great pieces on this team, and I don't want to take anything away from Detroit. But as I say that, I am going to be taking stuff away from them because I just don't know if they have the depth to overcome losing these 2 guys right here. This is a lot to contend with. Andrew Copp and Dylan Larkin. So what does this mean for some other teams that are vying for playoff positions? Well, I showed you the Eastern Conference standings before. It kind of gets a little bit tricky with the divisions and the wild cards and all that. So I just chose to take a look at the Eastern Conference landscape as a whole. Now, the Ottawa Senators lost a crucial game yesterday against the Montreal Canadiens, and that had all the makings of being a 4-point game. Ottawa basically playing for their playoff lives here. with 18 games left in their season. And then Montreal starting to create that little bit of separation. And my piece of advice when we're talking to teams in the middle of the Eastern Conference standings would be, don't look down, just look up. Keep playing good hockey, try to make your way up those standings as opposed to worrying about who is below you. And I think that's what Montreal has started to do here as of late. They're playing more free and easy hockey, and it's translating to better results for them. So the Boston Bruins currently occupy that final wild card spot, and the New York Islanders are ahead of them by a point with a game in hand as well. So Columbus, I mentioned them. I think they're going to be very formidable down the stretch here. Only 23 regulation wins for them, so that could get a little bit tricky when we're looking at tiebreaker scenarios and whatnot. But Columbus, you cannot discount them. And now there is a true opening for Ottawa in that Atlantic division if Detroit is not able to sustain any sort of success without Dylan Larkin and Andrew Copp for the foreseeable future. Now, it's at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks for those two guys if we take a look at the report right here. About 2 weeks. But you never know. These things can get a little bit tricky, and it's tough to gauge when you'll get them back, especially when we don't really have all the specifics. We don't know what the injuries are exactly. They're just leg injuries, which is more than what we usually get. You usually just get a lower body injury, and that's it. That's the extent of the injury report that we get. So let me know in the comments section down below, do you think Detroit will have enough to overcome the losses of Dylan Larkin and Andrew Copp, or is the situation just too delicate at the moment? I mean, it's not like they've built themselves a nice buffer here. They're right in the thick of things. They're on the cusp. The -2 goal differential, they don't really score as much as a lot of other teams that are in this playoff picture. So they rely a lot on Dylan Larkin to do the heavy lifting when it comes to the defensive game. They rely a lot on their goaltending as well, which has been pretty good this year, which has been a point of weakness for them in years past. Now, I'm wondering what this means for guys like Steve Yzerman, who in his entire tenure there in Detroit hasn't made the playoffs. We've heard about the Yzer plan and what that could mean for them and how that's going to get them back to the promised land. Well, when is it going to happen? Now, are people going to let him off the hook because of these 2 injuries? I personally would, because they're right there in that mix. And I think that if you don't lose those guys for 2 weeks, you probably do end up making the playoffs. But then again, who knows? Look how crowded this picture is. I mean, Columbus and Ottawa, they are not out of it. I would like to say that Ottawa is really punching above their weight here with 73 points and only 18 games remaining in their season, but they're not out of it. One good week, and you're right back in that playoff picture. You might even be back in a playoff spot with one good week and a couple of bad games by the Boston Bruins. So the Bruins are holding on for dear life. The New York Islanders, I truly have no explanation for how they're doing this. I mean, 23 regulation wins out of their 37 wins on the season. There's been a lot of magic going on in New York. They're getting the goaltending. Ilya Sorokin, I think, is going to win the Vezina Trophy. If I had to pick somebody today, he's been that great for them. And then Matthew Schaefer, we know the brilliance of Matthew Schaefer. He's going to be in that Norris conversation, let alone being the runaway winner for the Calder Trophy for the best rookie of the season. So there are a ton of great stories in the Eastern Conference and a lot of teams that I did not expect to see in this playoff picture, Pittsburgh included. Like, how the hell is Pittsburgh doing this? They were expected to be the doormat of the Eastern Conference, and now here they are with the 5th best record among all the teams. It's truly remarkable what Pittsburgh has been able to do, and without Sidney Crosby to boot. So it's crazy. It's crazy, truly. And it seems as though every time a team picks up a crucial 2 points, a team around them is also picking up a crucial 2 points. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Even though the playoffs haven't officially started as of yet, you got to feel like these last 18 or whatever games that all these teams have left to go, it feels like playoff hockey, and it feels as though the postseason has begun, even though it officially starts in April. So we'll see. We'll see how the rest shakes out. But Detroit, for my money, as of now, with knowing what we know about Andrew Copp and Dylan Larkin, who I think is their best player, it gets really tricky, and I expect them to miss the playoffs. But if they do manage to sneak in there, despite the injuries that they have to overcome, then that truly is one of the more remarkable stories in the National Hockey League, and especially in the Eastern Conference, alongside the Buffalo Sabres and the Pittsburgh Penguins, for doing what they've been able to do with, I would say, limited talent. Detroit doesn't score all that many goals, but they do have talent, as demonstrated right here. A couple of point-per-game players in Lucas Raymond and Alex DeBrincat. Then Dylan Larkin, not far off that pace, but he's got to stay healthy for them to have any chance, in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below. Is this the kiss of death for the Detroit Red Wings? I personally think it is, but it remains to be seen. We've seen crazier things happen this NHL season, and a lot of surprising storylines that not many of us expected coming into the year. So let me know in the comment section down below, can Detroit overcome these two injuries to two key players down the middle of the ice? Or is it just going to be too tall of a hill to climb? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you all tomorrow. I will tee up Canada and the U.S. in the World Baseball Classic, as well as the Dominican Republic, who is taking on South Korea tomorrow. So that should be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for the next episodes to come on Answer the Call with Peter Vryonis. But that's it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Detroit and their playoff chances.